thank everybody for coming tonight. We have presentation and comments. Anybody would like to speak for 2 minutes? Sure.
Thank you. My name is Mary Procopio. I live at 30 Balsam Crescent. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to you. I was so glad to see that the issue of speed limits in the 4th Ward was finally addressed in the latest issue of the Town Crier. It's an issue that I've been actively interested, concerned about, and talking with my neighbors about, particularly in the Manors. That's where Balsam Crescent is located. And I don't know if anyone is familiar where the Manors are. It's the neighborhoods between Seneca Turnpike and 12B and on Merritt Place. Specifically in the Manors, we have no sidewalks. So when we're out walking our dogs, when our kids are riding their bikes, or we're just taking a stroll, walking our dogs, we're in the streets. And people speeding down our roads is a huge concern. So we do fear for our safety. I've talked with a number of neighbors, and I'm upwards now of 50 signatures, people who just want to see something done about it. So yes, temporary solutions have been employed, and I will say when I've called and said, someone's speeding down Balsam Crescent, police department has been wonderful. They are there, they'll monitor. But unfortunately, it's like when you bring your car into a mechanic and then the issue's not there. So I don't know how often they're able to catch someone doing that. And then the radar speed trailers, also a great temporary solution. Again, temporary though, so it doesn't really seem to solve the problem. So just to ask residents to be mindful of their speed limits. I don't know if that's going to work. So I tried a little experiment, and I ask everyone to do it. If you're in your neighborhood, driving 30 miles an hour, and that's what the speed limit is in our neighborhood, 30 miles an hour, it seems awful fast. And then if you reduce your speed limit to 25, it just seems more reasonable, and then down to 20. So when I'm driving 30, it just seems so fast for our neighborhood and the Manors, and maybe when that was established, there weren't as many houses, but there's just there's so many people out walking around. So I understand that the existing law with a town over 50,000, they have the ability, right, to lower or to change the speed limit. So as in Hartford, we're under 50,000. I get that. It would be against the law. We can't just arbitrarily reduce our speed limits. But there is a mechanism. So from what I understand, towns with populations under 50,000 just need to request an adjustment and receive approval from the New York State Department of Transportation before a speed limit can be changed. So there's something that can be done. Just the temporary solutions don't seem to be working. My neighbors are just very concerned. So we just want to see something, if anything can be done, at least a speed study. So I'm just here to ask, would the town consider taking further action to look at it, to do a study, or maybe explore an adjustment? Or do you stand by the statement that there's really nothing else that we can do at this point?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So you
I'd like to
stand.
address that, Mike.
I'd like to address my councilman though in the 4th Ward. Is there anything we can do? Can we file a joint?
I really might be the one that can really put your concerns, answer your concerns. I agree with you 100%. There are a lot of neighborhoods in our town that you drive through at 30 and really you think the speed limit should be lower. But I've gone round and round with DOT more than a handful of times. They will not budge off of 30 miles an hour unless it's a school zone. We do have a couple other areas in the town that have a road or two that are less than 30. And when I bring it to the attention of the DOT engineer that I deal with, they say that should have never happened. We don't know how you got a 25 mile an hour speed limit on that roadway, but it hasn't happened in a long, long time, and it will not happen unless it's a school zone. They shut me right down. I've had this conversation many times.
So what constitutes a school zone? Because the Manors, Miles is right on 12B, and then, obviously there's,
There's a
children
distance.
in that
There's a
area.
distance on the road. so many feet before and after the school building that you can designate as a school zone. And we do have school zones throughout the town as you drive through. Those are the only zones that DOT will agree to basically went less than 30.
So if we had every resident in the fourth, or, if we had like a huge showing of petitions and we filed something to the state, you don't think they would do anything?
Honestly, and again,
Can we try?
I hear your concerns. I think the last time I spoke with a DOT, she was a senior engineer, Linda Lupi was her name. She put me back in touch with the traffic division, and I used Linda to express my desire for development that we establish a speed limit in. And she said, I'll make a call for you, put me back in touch with the DOT engineer of the traffic division, and I was shut right down cold again. There really isn't anything in the municipality. The DOT is in charge of the speed limits.
And also, too, going back when I was a councilman in the second ward, in Southwood, we had the same exact issue. It's 30 miles an hour there, too. Kids like to play in the street and do stuff. I actually had a petition with every person in Southwood saying they'd like the speed limit drop. And I spoke with DOT, and it went nowhere, too. It was, they wouldn't do anything for us. The only thing they would put, they said if you could put up, if you had children at play signs and stuff, but to actually change the speed limit, it was an impossible, change. Because I think why they do that is because then everyone around the whole state is going to ask for it, so I think they stop it, so that's what...
Makes no sense to me.
No, I agree with you. Listen, I'd love the speed limit to be 15 miles an hour, because people fly through there, and it's been like that for 15 years that I've lived there. But DOT will not do anything, and they don't care what official calls them. They're not going to change their mind. And
That certainly is a valid concern that we have.
yeah, I like the sidewalks. The sidewalk thing, I think, is a great idea, and that's something maybe we can even come up with, maybe like a 50-50 match that, if you want sidewalks for your house and get a whole district, a whole area to do sidewalks. I'm all about sidewalks, because that will also help with stormwater and our roads. I mean, me and Rick talk about sidewalks all the time. In fact, they're doing it on Middle Settlement Road. I think it's great, so people don't have to walk on the road. But with the speed limit situation, I don't know. It's been a failure, for years that people have tried, and other people on the board have tried, and never, they wouldn't change their mind. So,
Chief, when you run enforcement up there, are you finding they're exceeding the speed limit?
We're not. But I
But 30 miles an hour.
In her defense, 30 miles an hour. When you have your kids playing in the front yard,
Right.
it seems fast, yeah.
It does seem fast, and I'm telling you, on Balsam, they come off of Seneca Turnpike, they'll, Oakdale, and they'll speed, they'll just open it up. And everyone I've talked to, especially around the curves, you're talking about like Mapledale, they'll take it like Tokyo Drift. Everyone has said the same thing, they'll just speed around the corner. This is extended over to like Fawn Crest. Everyone's echoing the same sentiments that it is just out of control.
Unfortunately, those are your neighbors that are exceeding the speed limit too.
Yeah.
I agree.
True. But I think sometimes people try to use that as a pass between 12B and Seneca Turnpike. So whether they're residents or not, they use, especially the Manners, they'll use it to cut through. So I don't know if they're residents or not, to be honest with you, in all those cases. But okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
okay, we have some budget adjustments. Dan, you have a few budget adjustments that need to be...
So I gave each of you a copy of these in your report back. The first one is pretty straightforward, general whole town, to increase the mowing cost for the vacated house, maintenance and mowing, $7,500, and also increasing the offsetting revenue for the same amount. If I could have a motion to do that.
So moved.
Motion by Dave. Second by Rich. Discussion. All in favor? Aye.
The second one is highway part-time to adjust for budget increases in the fuel requirements for Rick's trucks. We're going to increase winter and summer fuel for a combination of $43,469, and we're going to increase various revenue accounts that are over budget more than what we've budgeted the same amount, various accounts. If I can have a motion for that.
So moved.
Motion by Dave, second by Rich, discussion, all in favor? Aye.
And then the last one, general part-time, to increase various revenue accounts that are over budget and bringing in revenue to the tune of $25,725, and the offset of an expense transfer to other funds, highway and part-time, for the same amount.
Have a motion? Motion by Rich,
A second?
second by Rich, discussion, all in favor? Aye. Sit down, okay. Okay, couple things, any councilman have anything that they'd like to discuss? Anything new? Dave? No? Rich? No? Rich? Gail?
We have a raffle consent form that was received. The Stevens Pond Humane Society was to sell raffle tickets in the town, and we would have to approve that.
Have a motion to approve Stevens Swan's raffle.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Rich, second by Rich, discussion, all in favor? Aye. Okay, Barb's got some, summer help, or winter help, actually.
Winter help. I have 8 people. They would go on as laborers to do the ice attending in the parks starting Saturday. The rate would be $10 an hour. Do you want me to read off the names?
Yeah, read off the names, the salary, and
All right, so it's $10 an hour for each of them. It's Nicole Farku, Kyler Wheat, Abigail Martin, Madison Holmes, Marie Wynn, Gabriella McConney, Hannah Sherman, and Cuckoo. So I can get approval for those.
They're budgeted.
They're
Yes.
budgeted, we have them every year doing the ice attendance.
So moved.
they're under contractual for the,
I'll second.
okay, motion by Dave, second by Rich, discussion, all in favor? Aye. Anybody else?
No, that's all I have.
Okay, Rick? No? Okay. All right, moving along, a few things. One is, I prepared the tentative budget for 2020. Emailed you a copy last week. You guys take a look at it. Good budget. We stayed under the tax cap again, so everybody get your refund checks. In this budget, as you can see, we added $213,000 to stormwater. We talked in the last meetings that we wanted to upgrade our infrastructure for our stormwater, our culverts, our pipes, our catch basins. That money is in here. Rick's gonna head that out. He's actually been working on it this year already, but this will be through 2020. So that was actually the only budget increase. Again, if we didn't have that, we'd have probably a 4 or 5% tax decrease, but that there offset it, and then we'd be able to upgrade our infrastructure. Also in here too is the other half payment for the pavilion at the park. So this year we're going to do half, and next year we're going to do the half. So that'll upgrade the pavilion in the park also. There's some additional summer help. As you know, in the parks, we had some retirees. So we're going to replace them with part-time summer help, seasonal, with no benefits next year. So I added that in there. I mean, pretty much we geared it towards infrastructure and roads and upgrades on our facilities.
Some of the expenses on the insurance and.
Yeah, so there's also two, there was, as you know, last year we had an increase. Here's the actual numbers, the exact numbers. So in 18, we had an 8.2% increase on healthcare costs. In 19 was 4.1, and this 2020 budget is 6%. When we had the meeting with the healthcare company, they said next year it might go to 12%. Also, too, we had some people that added additional family members and stuff, so increased it. So overall, with the increase of that, plus the increased height, we're about 9.5% increase on health costs, which, I mean, there's nothing to do, but maybe Rich is looking into changing the company to save on that end, but it's still for the employees that are here currently. So yes, that's also included, that hike, and also the workers' comp went up, our retirement went up. So all those are in this budget with the numbers that are in here, so that was also in there. So if we didn't have those increases, and, you know, we don't do stormwater, again, it could be a huge tax decrease, so I think it's a good budget. I think it gets the job done. We've added a lot of nice services. It's keeping Rick's department whole. We didn't cut anything, and that's it. And really, most of the savings has come from, you know, decreased labor jobs in the parks that we've had. So, you know, totaling all the jobs that we've had, again, that help offset the stormwater work that we've been doing. So, again, that's a big savings, plus the day-to-day operating savings that we've been going through. And the building also was a nice cost savings in the long run here. So, altogether, that's where I'm at. I don't know if anybody has any questions, or anybody took a look at it. Or,
I think,
yes.
I have the official tentative budget. It contains the exemption report that's required to be filed with the tentative.
Okay.
So here are your copies if we just pass them around.
I think the amount of stormwater, I think, is huge. It's a good step in that direction.
I think so. I mean, again, we're putting the money, the residents are seeing where the money is going. We're constantly doing improvements every day. I mean, you know, we're upgrading our services, our facilities, our roads. Again, this also paid, in this budget too, was also the bonding we did for all the new roads we put in last year. I mean, I think we had, almost $1 million in roads or more last year that we put in. So, you know, again, I think we're on a good path.
Paul, is this going to go up on the web so public can see it?
It is. I told Barb to put it up like a couple days ago. We're actually having an issue uploading it, but if you want, I can just give you a copy. But yeah, I can email it to you also if you like, if you have a hard copy. But hopefully, when you think they'll?
I emailed him the first time I had an issue, and I haven't heard back from him. He said he's gonna check on it. Every time I do something, it seems like something else gets screwed up and nothing's getting.
Yeah, there's been an issue because they've been changing their interface and everything. So we've been seeing an impact on that. Every time we upload something, it just makes it all gibberish. But they're getting on it, and we should have it corrected. But I'll give you a copy so you have it. Any questions? Okay. Yeah, I'm around. Just whenever you guys want, just call me. But, any questions for now or anything? Okay. All right. So moving along. Let's see. Electric stations for the town. I don't know if you guys seen, but they are complete. All our EV stations are complete. They are doing a software test. We're going to have a ribbon cutting for those. I believe October.
We're looking at the 17th, as long as we can get all of our signage taken care of and all paperwork's finished.
Okay. So everybody's invited.
He's emailing me tomorrow the dimensions of the signs,
Okay.
and I got a picture of what it looks like, what it has to say, and I'll see if we can get them in-house.
Okay, perfect.
Once they're done, we get the EC approval, right?
Yeah.
And then we can install them once that's done.
Okay. All right, perfect. So, again, that's something.
So those will be operational very soon.
Well, that'll be operation. The software and everything will be done by the 15th. So that'll be set. Everybody can start plugging their cars. In fact, our codes vehicle could get plugged in there now.
Is there a counter, or is there some way that we'll know how they're being used, how often they're being used?
Yeah, it's all software driven, so you can actually track everything through the program, which will be on Rick's computer and mine. So we'll be able to print out everything. We can actually even change the amount, certain times of the days, whatever, from that program. So it's fully functional, by software management. All right, so, okay. Town of New Hartford DEC grant, the final contract. Did you take a look? Okay. Herb, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I can have a motion to approve? Motion by Rich. Second by Rich. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Okay. As you know, we had a special addition to our town hall. We have a POW flag. It was added here. I want to thank Allison. She did a great ceremony the other day. Dave, Rich, everybody was here. Rich, Rick. It was a real nice ceremony, and also to make it official, if we could dedicate our town board meeting room to the veterans. I'd like a motion if we can approve that, and also, again, display our PW flag here at the.
So
Motion by Dave, second by Rich. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. All right. Well, thank you, and thank you, Allison. That was really nice. Thank you. Exit contract for retiring non-union employees. As we spoke before, we thought it would be a good idea. Most companies do it. Other municipalities do it. As an employee retires, they have an actual exit contract. It shows all the terms that they sign off. So later years, they can't come back and say something was different or talk about a handbook change or anything like that. Once they sign this, they lock into when they leave. So we had 2 retirees. We had Eileen Spellman on June 10, 2019. Herb's reviewed and put together the exit contract. If I can have approval to have Herb complete Eileen Spellman's exit contract, we'll get that out to her, have that signed, and then we'll have it here in Gail's office for final. Okay, motion by Rich.
I'll second.
Second by Rich. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. As you know, Joe Booth is leaving October 31st, so he would also have an exit contract leaving because he's a full-time employee. And if I can have a motion to approve Joe Booth's exit contract October 31st.
So
Motion by Dave. Second by Rich. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Okay,
If
thank
you
you.
don't approve it, does he have to stay?
is there any significance to it being on Halloween? Just asking.
For him, not for us.
I know we're saying non-union, how about the union people?
Well, the union follows them by the contract
By the union
that
They
they
had an
have.
issue earlier in the year.
Yeah, so what their contract states is what their exit contract will be. You see, whatever their,
No, I understand that, but I know that there was that misunderstanding.
well, that's a handbook change we gotta change.
All right, as long as that's covered, so
Yeah,
we don't go through that.
Again,
Yeah. No. I
The
mean,
union employees will have it with the contingent on the.
right, and they're gonna sign off for it, because things that we're worried about before is other employees coming back asking for something because we made a change in the future. So this eliminates that. I mean, that's really the biggest thing that this eliminates. Once you sign it, that's your contract. That's it.
And there's nothing more than an agreed to the contract language is set forth
Right from our handbook.
right.
right from the handbook.
Right from the
Just
handbook.
sign it.
Yeah, there's no additional stuff. It's
Right,
already
as long as you get that signature, then you're
Correct.
95% of the way there.
Yeah. So at least we have an agreement, so.
I don't want to go through that.
But, okay, well, thank you. Next one, approval for maintenance of Middle Settlement Road streetlights. So I spoke with the county, and if they install the lights, then they want us to take care of the maintenance. On Middle Settlement Road, I think putting streetlights in is very valuable and definitely needed. It's too dark over there to have sidewalks without streetlights.
This is the new construction?
The new construction,
In
right.
front of the Legion?
Correct. The one that goes from there to First Source Bank. So I strongly recommend, so did Rich, I know, spoke to him because it's a district. And we agreed that having streetlights there would definitely be a good safety issue. So in saying that, we would take over the maintenance of them though. So, but they would be new LED streetlights. They'll be, 10-year on them anyway, and then we would take maintenance off after that.
It's not gonna be any different than when we do the reimbursement for the LEDs, we're gonna be responsible for the maintenance. right?
Correct, yeah, or the districts at the time that would bring in it.
So,
That's certainly a good thing to do.
yeah, so the whole thing is.
Yeah, but it's such a dark road,
Oh, absolutely.
so I mean, you definitely need the lights there for safety. So if I can have a motion to,
I'll make the motion.
okay, motion by Rich, second by Rich, discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, two things, Sangertown, as you know, the county gave us a grant to, put in berms at the retention ponds at Sangertown Square. They have a maintenance agreement with the town. Every 3 years, they clean out the ponds and take care of them. But now we need to get on their land to put in these berms to help the stormwater issues downstream for Royal Brook Lane, Burr Ave on there, and also Commercial Drive area. So, of course, their business, everybody wants something for something. So they're saying, yes, you guys could do it if every 3 years, instead of them doing the maintenance, they would write us a check for $20,000 and we would do the maintenance. I spoke with Rick. He said that would be a fair number to take care of that, and then we would be in control of those ponds if we ever have to go in and take care of it in the future. They wanted us to pay for it all. I said, no, we need to get compensated for it. And I think 20 grand would be a fair number to take care of that going forward every 3 years. So.
Is that something that we can look at, let's say, 10 years down the road, and find out if the costs are more? Or is that 20 going to be set?
Well, I mean, we could do a 10-year lease, with them, or we could do a 20-year. However you guys want to do it. Again, we could set that now, and I can go back to them.
I just wouldn't want it set, and then Rick finds out that there's more to it than what there is, and then we're on the hook. And that's all we get, and it's gonna cost us more money, so as long as we've got some avenue that we can go back and renegotiate.
Sure, yeah, I think that's fair, so,
What kind of agreement should we draw up?
Well, I think we're gonna have to have a contingency in there that if the cost substantially deviates from the $25,000 figure, we have the right to reopen and negotiate.
so Rick, any input? You've been in the.
No, I just, if you look at it right now, it's well overgrown. There is an agreement that at any given time, the vegetation shouldn't be over 4 to 6 inches. And it's way over that right now. So the other thing I would, if we go ahead with this, is I would have them clean it on their time, get it back to where it needs to be, and then we take it over at that point.
Then it's a lot less, it's just a simple maintenance.
Exactly. That's my recommendation.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Dave?
What are we responsible for under what you're saying? The ponds and the berm? Just the berm?
Well, we would be responsible for the maintenance. We would take over the maintenance agreement
Of the ponds?
of the ponds.
The whole area?
And, the berm we're installing, so that's why they don't. Right now, this is how they look at it. We clean the ponds, and you're not in the ponds, and it's on their backs and everything. But we're saying we need to get in there to do this work, to help the downstream people. So they're saying, okay, we're gonna go in and work on our ponds and everything, then we wanna push that off, So that it's just a negotiation between, them and us. So I can go back with anything that you have that, you'd like to add. But,
Well, certainly, we need to control the flooding downstream, that's
Right.
a given. But I go back to the original agreement, December of 1988, they're responsible. And I just question why we're now why don't we hold their feet to the fire and make them do it as per the original agreement?
well, they are. This is above and beyond their agreement, though. We're actually holding back more water, we're changing the whole,
By virtue of what? Burn?
well, we're holding more water back than what was originally spec'd out in the planning board back when they did this.
So the burn is on the original plan.
But it's not there.
Yeah,
It
It's
never
not
was
there.
there.
Pardon me?
It's not there, it never was there.
All right.
It should be there.
It should be there based on this. That's all I'm saying.
But it's not.
So why don't we make them do that? And I understand that you've got a grant, and I don't want to lose the grant, but it just seems like we're letting them skate on this, the original agreement.
Except I think we're going above and beyond to improve the water situation downstream, is what I'm anticipating.
Both of these ponds are on Mount Creek. They still take care of their third pond, which takes all the water from the parking lot. All the catch basins goes into their pond. We're not touching that pond. That's theirs. We will not do any.
These are the Mud Creek.
These are the two that are on Mount Creek.
Yeah, just
Between the
to,
two ramps.
just to the
and the other
right,
side.
as you go around the.
Between there and the Anadassus.
So the burn that you're referring to is for a 100-year storm. What we're trying to do is do one for a 10-year storm. So we're going above and beyond the specs that are in the maintenance contract and what was designed for them. Now, we can ask them to put part of that berm up and we do the other part. But for them to do what we want is above and beyond the specs that are set forth in that document.
And it's taking care of everyone downstream, the way we want to do it.
Right, this was the way, again, going back when I was councilman and I was sitting in your seat, we did the study. And it was the study from Royal Brook Lane all the way up through Kirkland. And we did Royal Brook Lane back then. We put a second tributary in. And then we were looking for grants on middle settlement for the property we own and again, there were some that in Singertown, and then JK did their own, that was part of it. So this was all part of it, and now we're at the point that we got the grant money to do these two places. But it was, again, above and beyond what was spec'd out for Singertown to originally install that we want to put in there. So, I mean, again, we could put their feet to the fire and say, yeah, get this back to a 100-year storm, but it's still not going to help our plan to get it to a 10-year storm. You know?
To me, that makes more sense, to make them do what they were supposed to do, and then if going forward, we're gonna use the grant to improve that situation.
Well, here's the thing too, is, in all negotiations, if you go and make them do something, then they're gonna say, well, I don't want you on my property, and we can't get on there unless we take it by eminent domain. So, I'm trying to work it on the way of negotiating with them and working together to get the ultimate goal is storm prevention. But if we go in there.
I certainly understand.
Yeah, I mean, if we put their feet to the fire too much, they're gonna tell us, hey, guess what, guys? We're not gonna do nothing. We're gonna do what it says in there, and we're gonna tell you, have a nice day. And then now, again, the residents downstream are
So
gonna.
they'd have to put the berm in.
They'd have to put the 100-year berm, but again, that's a third.
All right.
Well, you know what I'm saying? That's only a third of what's required in our study that we have.
Okay.
So we could push them, but we don't really have too much to stand on. I mean, they can even tell us at this point, we don't want to do your project. I'm trying to negotiate to get on their land. I mean, they own that. We don't have any rights to it. That's what should have been in that maintenance contract when we did it, was that we have rights if they don't do, we can go on their land to take care of whatever, but that wasn't in there.
I didn't read it, but I think they are responsible.
They are responsible, but we don't have any rights to go on there and do above and beyond work from that plan. So I don't know, Rick, if you have another, I mean, am I on the right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what else they're hard guys to deal with. They're not.
Yeah, I know.
They don't really, I don't want to say they don't care, but they don't have to care because they don't have flooding. They're not impacted.
But they're not bashful about a surgery.
No,
No, exactly.
again and again and again.
Again and again and again. This is a surgery as far as I'm concerned. We're getting the short end of the stick over the long haul on a flood situation that they've never really taken full ownership of.
I agree.
So I guess I just want my feelings known.
No, I understand. Listen, I mean, we could fight them. Past administrations has fought and fought, guess what?
Not on
Nothing
this
happened.
issue, I don't think.
No, I'm just saying that they haven't built the berm since they started, so no one's got them to build the berm. I mean, again, I think legally it would cost us more money and time than to try to negotiate something to work something out to make sense. I mean, again,
We'd have to bring a lawsuit against them
Yeah.
and go through the whole rigmarole, depositions, trial, everything.
You don't give any wins with Con.
no, I think we have a good relationship now with them. I think we're working, again, for the, it's positive for the residents downstream, and especially we're on Brook Lane and stuff.
And they're open to giving us these.
Yeah, I mean, they're actually working with us right now. I think, again, if we go after them, they're just gonna fold, and then we're only gonna get the 100-year, we're not gonna get the 10-year.
We've got the study you guys had done.
Right.
It shows the benefit and the need.
Absolutely, absolutely. I just want my reservations noted, please.
No, listen, I get it. So, I mean, again, I'm bringing it to you guys to see which way we wanna go. I mean, that's really it. I mean, Rick was there at the meeting. I mean, he's,
The cleanup process, if you read that contract from years ago, is from the top of the roadway down to the edge of water. Doesn't give us any right to go in Mud Creek. We ever had to go in Mud Creek to clean it, now you're getting permits from DEC to get in there into the creek. All this doing is taking the vegetation, keeping it down, keeping it clear, all around those ponds.
You should have help out of that system.
yes, definitely.
Definitely, that's the big,
Yeah.
because that berm is going to be just prior to their property, that's hold the water back.
I have no problem.
I mean, again, I just want your input when we go to negotiations, because I don't want to come back and say, hey, I got this. Yeah, we don't, so.
Is there a timeline on that grant? Or is it when it's going to be done?
I mean, they want shovels in the ground. I mean, again, this is year 2, we still haven't, and don't forget, we got money this year for new projects. This is still from last year. And again, I'm,
This is in the GEIS study area as well.
right.
Use it or lose it.
Hopefully the work that's being done on across from Special Mill, that section of Millville will aid this also.
It won't right now. The only work that they're doing is remediating contamination.
No, I know, but when it's done,
It's going back to the exact characteristics of what was left there. So that actually DEC wanted to bring it back to what I'm trying to negotiate again with that one is that they leave it dug out. So when we put our pond in, it's actually cheaper to do it. We
well,
don't.
that's what I mean. The plan shows a pond and a retention wall, if you will, yes.
Oh yeah, when we're done, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
I touch you about what after
So
they're
when that
done.
work is complete, that should take some pressure off it.
Oh, huge, yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, it's gonna help on between Seneca and Commercial Drive, that bottleneck that's a river, right there is gonna take care of that issue too, so. I mean, it's a 20-acre pond over that much water, I mean, so.
And what Specialized is doing is going to help us in the long run.
No, it's not gonna, it's not helping.
They're just taking care of their
Contamination is all
There's
they're
no-
taking care of.
There's no value add for what they're doing. If I could get the DEC, again, we submitted the permit, if I can get DEC to let them leave the work dug out and not put it back, then that's gonna help us in the tune of about $400,000 or $500,000.
Otherwise, we gotta go in and dig.
Or else
it
then
up.
we gotta go dig up the work they just did. So I mean, so that's what I've been working on, that and trying to get the Sanger Town so we can get these projects done. So I mean, that's where I am at right now. But if we could do that, again, it's gonna save us huge amount of money for trucking all that,
Right.
soil out of there. So, I mean, hopefully, we're in the spring, we're breaking ground over there in Middle Settlement. I mean, that's my game plan.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
Another issue when we're done with this, the letters of intent, do we need permission?
Yeah.
to move forward with those letters of intent?
Yep. Okay. So, again, I'm not asking for anything, I'll bring back something to the table, but that's okay. As long as we get an adequate, and Rick, mark me if I'm wrong, but for 20 grand, if we do it in-house, I mean, we're above and beyond. I mean, we're in good shape cleaning out that pond.
Is that what's budgeted in 2020? Is that what's in the budget? Did I see that?
No,
Or
no,
something different?
No, that'll be revenue coming in and then,
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
expense going
Okay,
out.
yeah.
But that's not even in there. Well, it'll be revenue coming in and then whatever his labor force is, so we'd be ahead. Anything else on that, Rick? No? Okay. All right, any other questions on those two projects? Rick, you want
The governor, through Homeland Security, has come up with another measure for some grant monies. I have to have the letter of intent in by October 15th. Nothing is, obviously, we have no engineers on site yet, but what I'm looking at is 2 more detention ponds. One up in Hughes Lane area to take care of Roman, Twindom, Oxford Road. And the second one we talked about years ago is down there behind Wagner's. There's a lady down there that owns some property that was paper lots that was never transpired into a development. If we were to get those 2 lots and make a detention pond, that would take care of the water coming off Tilden area, Narlow Lane, and help that area which we constantly incorporate.
Absolutely.
So I want to put these 2 letters of intent into these 2 grants, and see if I can obtain them.
It's an email we got, I'm sure, so.
Yes.
So, okay, I have a motion to submit.
So moved.
Motion by Dave, second by Rich. Discussion, all in favor? Aye. Okay. Thanks, Rick. We'll take care of that. Another thing, LED street lighting. As you know, we're upgrading our town for LED street lighting for the efficiency and also for less maintenance. Also in that too, we want to take a look at a lot of areas in our district. I'd like all the input from all the councilmen. Rich was there with us. He has some locations that he'd like to add lighting, or any place that we want to start in the district for lighting. So those are all things we want to look at, because we'd like to do it all in one package. They got such a great rate through NYSERDA on the lamps that we couldn't even buy them wholesale for what they're getting them for. Again, because they're doing them for the whole state. So now's the time to do it. If you guys can, by the next meeting, if you could propose to me any place, drive around your area, talk to the residents, look at some different areas, or anything that you see too that's pre-development in an area, like anything like that. Now's the time to do it. We could put it all in the package. They're only $90 a head it's a real good deal. And they're 10-year bulbs. So again, it's a nice feature. But if you could do that by the next meeting, I got to call Jim and tell him. But if any place that you see that would need additional lighting, or even an area that you had a lot of people that were very interested in the district, now is probably the time to do it. So, all right.
And to extend the district or to establish, you still got to have a public hearing.
Correct.
Because sometimes you run into a situation where they want a street light, but these people don't want a street light.
Right. And again, it's something to say.
Right.
You might be a
Offer it to
councilman.
them.
Exactly. So you might say, hey, you know what? I feel this district really needs lighting. It's a safety issue. Whatever. We've never done it because it was so expensive. Now, if we buy them now, we have an opportunity to get in very, 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 very cheap. I would say. So now's the time to do it. I know Rich is adding some lights in some places. I have some ideas that I'd like to add some lights that I know everybody would be in favor of. So again, anywhere that you see, they're going to do everything. Park lights, they're going to do our lights out here, all of them all at one time. So.
Also with those new lights, like you talked about, maybe somebody doesn't want, maybe they're thinking it's going to be too bright.
Right. They're
Those
just,
new ones we can bring down.
right. Right. They're just,
Yeah, they're just.
And not only that, from Rick's phone, he can adjust all the lights in the town. He can track which ones are out.
Right.
He could track, usage times, everything, and also too, some of the lights, you can even add more features for smart communities and have things, cameras on them, all kinds of different things that in the future we might use, so.
Yeah, it's a good upgrade.
So. Anything else for lighting? No? Okay. Yep, so if you guys next meeting, please just get it to me so we got engineers coming in and they're gonna design everything and I just wanna have everything together. And then I want everybody to have everything up front, so when we go in, we don't say, oh, I wish we could have put a light here. So. All right, great. Update on the rec center. It's going smooth. We got ice. We got the temporary machine running right now. We fixed the hot water tank, so we saved about $7,500. We've also added hot water to the bathrooms too. Purchased that, should be done this week. So that's all complete also.
How did we do that, a separate tank or?
Yeah, so what we did was, because the hot water tank that we have, because of the long distance,
Right,
we couldn't get the hot water there for like 8-10 minutes.
right,
So what we did was we took two 40-gallon short tanks.
okay,
We added them in the ceiling. We hung them off the ceilings in
Okay.
both bathrooms. So they both had their own hot water. And then the hot water tank that's there runs the showers and runs the Zamboni.
it's a big improvement.
Yeah, so Chris, anything?
Yeah, no, everything's going good over there.
Yeah.
Kids are on the ice. And
Yeah.
it's good. They met their timeline, which was huge. So everything's good.
So I think we got like $1,200 in parts, and we got an insurance check last year for like $5,000. So we're ahead, and that's all fixed, and everything's brand new. And I'm also going to put in a damper on top before the winter, so this doesn't happen again with the hot water tank. I'm going to put electronic damper on it, so that'll be done too. Right, because that's what happened last year.
Yeah, I think
Wind back up and
something
froze.
froze in there.
Yeah, it froze the. So we're gonna do that. I think that's about another $400 or $500, and then we're done. Okay. All right. Also, as you know, I spoke to Rich about this on Middle Settlement Road. The Beacon has proposed the second phase of the senior housing that's up there. They've purchasing a piece of land next door. It's about roughly around 11 acres. They're only going to use 3.7 acres of it. They have 5.7 that they're not going to use for building. My recommendation to the planning board and also to the developers was if we did a conservation easement on this property, so there'd be no more future development here, because this is actually part of the Mud Creek floodway area. And this is an area that was told that would be an impact, to Mud Creek if there was more building that went on in this area. If you look at proposed lot 2. You guys see that? Okay, so proposed lot 2 is the one that I'd like to see get dedicated to the town and put a conservation easement on it. We can also use this in the future, maybe for park alienation. If we do our solar farm up on 12, this would be, we could dedicate this to a park area that's down there, and that would suffice. So the owner, or not the owners, but the developers that were there, would dedicate the piece of parcel of land of 5.736 acres to the town of Hartford for no cost, and then we would put a conservation easement on it. Herb, anything?
No problem at all. We just need authorization to go forward.
Okay, and then also in doing that, the developer also is willing to make a donation. I don't know if you looked in your letter, of $25,000 to the town for any recreation facilities. We could use it on this lot if we like for future recreation, or we could use it at another facility in our town where you want it to go towards recreation. So
Does this have road frontage?
Yes. Yep, right here, it's 218 feet on mill settlement.
That's where it makes sense to develop there, so support that.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. I mean, again, we own the property adjacent to this, where we're putting our retention basin. And, you know, I have a concern if any more development went in this area. I don't think it would be smart, smart building, smart development. So,
Especially with that Mud Creek study, this conforms with the recommendation.
right.
Need a motion?
I'll make the motion.
All right, motion by Rich. Second by Rich, discussion. Discussion, anybody? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so we'll get that taken care of. You want this?
Yeah. I have it.
You have it, okay. Do you need the map? Gordon, you got that too? Okay, perfect. Okay, other thing that we have is, we spoke about upgrading the gazebo that is in the park. All seen it. It's probably over, 30 years old, 40 years old. The bottom is rotted. It's currently unsafe. We discussed getting some quotes on material. We want to rebuild it. I don't know if you guys have been up there lately, but we're actually now exposed the actual Cheryl Brook, and it looks beautiful. We put rocks in there. We made it really nice. We changed the pipe in the roadway, and we want to redo the gazebo and put the new bridge in. Again, make it safe and nice. A lot of people use it for their weddings through the years in New Hartford, and again, bring it back to life, and it's really getting that way. So this proposal that I had, half the money I put in the budget for this year's budget for 19. The other half of the money is coming out of next year's budget that I put in there. But even if we do this year's budget price, at least we'll get it at least safe and workable. Right now, it's completely probably unusable. It's completely rotted. The beams underneath are rotted. So in saying that, we got 3 quotes. One was from JK Lumber for $26,000 or $28,000. No, 26 because we don't pay tax. $26,101 from JK Lumber for the material only. We got one from Lowe's, which was $21,430.67. And we got one from Home Depot for $19,444.92. And if we buy it this week before Friday, we'll save an additional $972.24 this week only. So,
Free microwave.
huh? If you sign now,
You get a free microwave.
I think so. I think that's on page 4. If not, we can get one. But no, so Home Depot was the best one. Again, this is all Trex boards, lifetime warranty on them. New stringers, new stairs. It'll be completely new. And the railings that are there are actually good railings. We're going to retrofit those. And that's pretty much it. Anything else, Rick, that you see out there that I forgot? Okay. And then the bridge also, too. We're going to make the bridge. I don't know, you guys ever go to the casino? You come in the entrance, they got the nice gazebo with the bridge right there. So we're going to kind of replicate that bridge and gazebo that's there. So with this here, that does that. So, and then now with the rocks in the brook, and it looks beautiful. It really, when it's done. Okay, so the grass, it's going to look amazing. So it'd be great for weddings and residents, and we can rent it out like we've been. Well, I mean, you never know. If the town gets the proceeds, we're doing it. But if anything else, we will. But yeah, so I think it's going to be nice. It's a good value. Again, it's just improving what we have. And in saying that, if I can have a motion to approve Home Depot's quote for lowest bidder at $19,444.92 with a $972 savings if we purchase it this week. Motion by Rich.
I'll second.
Second by Rich. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. All right, so we'll get that one done. All right, we have one executive session, and that's it. Huh? Oh, yes, we do. Huh? Yeah, so what I'd like to do is at least get a bid for the dehumidifier and a new engineered plan of the HVAC system that's there, the ducting system for it. So again, I just need a motion to just go out to bid for it.
So moved.
Motion by Dave, second by Rich. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Yeah, and then also too for the town sign that's out here, the main sign that we're gonna hang up that's gonna be lighted, and the circular sign, it's over $1,000, but I'd like to just go out to bid. Rick has been working on calling some people, for estimates, but I say we just go right out to bid with it, or get an RFP at least,
A lot of concern about the fact that there is no signage out there.
Well, no, I know.
It's hard, I know, you're working on it.
Yeah. But I think at this point, the numbers that have been coming down, I think the best thing to go out and get maybe 4 or 5 full quotes and really try to narrow it down, so. Because everybody has a different idea of how the sign should go up and what should go there. And it's, and then we have the one that's a circle, which was like a canvas, but then they wanted to do something different. So I say, let's get it in writing and then let's discuss it and go from there and get it done this year.
Do you have a motion?
Yes.
So moved.
Motion by Dave, second by Rich. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Anything else that we have left to do? Or at least just to sign that. Oh, yes. At the rec center, we came up with drawings for the, how would you say it? I don't know, but the staircase that goes over the Zamboni so nobody gets injured or hurt, so the students and also people can get over to the locker rooms without going all the way around the rink. I got a plan for that. That was the pro bono work that Gymo did for us for it. And I'd like to go out to bid for that too also. So no cost right now to the town for doing that, just to go out and see what the prices come back at.
So moved.
Motion by Dave, second by Rich. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Last thing is the second phase for the pilot for the Meadows. I believe we approved it
I thought we did.
before. Yeah, okay, so that's all corrected and?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can sign that, okay, so that's done. All right. Good.
We need a motion to go into executive session to discuss the pending Whiter and Champion litigation.
Motion by Rich, second by Rich. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Okay.
Probably been up since 4 this morning.
We're shutting it off. Wasn't even worth shutting it off.
Probably not. I never knew you guys were that efficient.
Who moved to go into executive?
Me.
Who seconded?
I did.
Motion to come out of executive session.
Motion by Rich, second by Rich. Discussion. All in favor? Motion to adjourn. Motion by Rich, second by Rich. Discussion. All in favor? Thank you for coming tonight, everybody.
Thank you.